It's now time to transition to our next plenary, and this is one also I'm very pleased to host here in Nebraska. It's really hosted by our partners from the UN Food and Agricultural Organization, and specifically the Water Scarcity and Agriculture Secretariat. This is an initiative that I have had the great pleasure of being involved in. Mark and colleagues at EMI and others have been involved in really trying to move water and agriculture forward through many different partner networks around the world. And now the next international forum will be in Punta Cana in Dominican Republic in March 2026. So this is coming into our neighborhood. It'll be, the next forum will actually be next door, and an opportunity for those of you interested in the international space to engage with many of the partners. And so with I'm really delighted to announce colleagues from FAO, but also from the Dominican Republic. And I'll just introduce them and ask them to step up here to the front. They're each then going to present from the podium. But I'll ask Ruiz Jean Barroto, or Jean, as is so well known to many of us, from the Senior Land and Water Officer at FAO and the WASAG team leader. Jean, welcome. And then Claudio Camano, Executive Director of Tecnificación Nacional de Riego from the Dominican Republic. Claudio, I will be familiar and use your first name. And then Patricia Jimenez, Partnership Coordinator with FAO in the Dominican Republic. Welcome to you all three. And Jean, I will hand the mic to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter. My mother had 14 of us. And then I have a friend who knows some of us. And whenever we speak to him, or whenever we spoke to him, because my mom is late, he would say, you guys always surprise me, because whenever you speak about your mother, it's like you are the unique child, yet you are 14. I think this applies to Peter and Francis. With regard to our needs, we really feel very special to be given this opportunity, and we appreciate that you accommodated our needs by giving us this plenary opportunity, and again, a lunch-side event where you are all invited, where we discuss really in greater details about this forum. And I will thank also the government of the Dominican Republic, which is represented by my brother, Claudio. And you can see we are dressed the same way to invite you already to come to the Caribbean. Because he's here, but he has to shorten his trip. On Friday, the President of the Republic has called him because he has to report on this forum. This is to say how much value the government of the Dominican Republic gives to this forum. We are always supported by by Capo Verde, which is another small island developing states. And we are financially supported by the government of Switzerland to help us cope with our activities. So WASAG, as Peter said it, started a few years ago, first at COP22 in Marrakesh, that is a UNFCCC, and then FAO convened a meeting of partners in April 2017. I was called at that meeting, and Peter was there. I don't know if anyone else in this room was there, but I remember that Jeremy Bird was also there as then the Director General of EMI, and many other colleagues. And so they adopted the Rome Statement on Water Scarcity in Agriculture. Quite frankly, we didn't know what to do exactly. So the statement was there, and they asked me to come and move from Accra, the regional office for Africa where I was working, to manage this partnership. So we agreed, if you read that Rome Statement, that the mission of WASAG is to support measurable, significant, and sustainable progress on improving and adapting agriculture systems in conditions of increasing water scarcity and a changing climate, using the combined expertise and resources of the partners. And I see many partners in this room. I'm not going to mention them. The African Union, ICARDA, IMI. Yesterday we had the the keynote speak in the evening on water and nutrition. Claudia read the working group of WASAG on water and nutrition. We had a session on drought management, which was led by UNCCD, and again, many of our partners. The composition of our partners is made of government and intergovernmental organizations, UN and IFIs, academia and research institutions. In fact, they make the bulk of our partners, and that's why we insist on coming here to reach many of them. Civil society organizations, private sector organizations, and foundations. We aim to contribute to several SDGs, key to them, of course, being clean water and sanitation, and the target on water scarcity, and zero hunger because of agriculture. So one of the delivery mechanisms that we felt was practical in order to allow our partners to own the partnership was to create working groups. And some of them are there, water and migration, drought preparedness that is led by UNCCD, financing mechanism by the World Bank, IFAD, and Climate Kick, water and nutrition by IFPRI, sustainable agriculture water use by IMI, and saline agriculture by ICBA, and with the strong collaboration of the expertise from the Netherlands. So I mentioned Capo Verde. Capo Verde came to see us at the World Water Forum in Brasilia. And the minister wanted us to go specifically to Capo Verde to help them. Capo Verde has an average rainfall of 200 millimeters per year. And that specific period, they were going through a drought. So we agreed that rather than focusing on the country, we could actually go to the country and convene everyone there to witness what is happening there and try to help the country, and at the same time, use the opportunity to collaborate. In the founding document of WASAG, that Rome statement, there was never a mention of a forum. It came by necessity. So we first met in March 2019 during the World Water Week. Then COVID-19 came, and those working groups that I showed, they really produced a lot of webinars and publications. And after COVID-19, we reconvened again in Capo Verde in 2023. And each time we adopt a statement, a commitment in 2019, and a call for action in 2023. But this call for action of 2023 was very specific in the sense that we felt that countries needed to have a role. So we then convened in October 2024 in Rome, and we adopted a Rome Declaration with 3 key outcomes. First, now we'll have the forum become formalized, that will meet every year, every second year, and rotating. Secondly, that we'll have a plenary assembly every other year. And thirdly, that our steering committee will no longer be made of our experts, but of members representing 7 regions. And so the next forum will then take place in the Dominican Republic, in Latin America and Caribbean. And I think it's befitting that it takes place there because of their context of regional water resources. Not only there is on one side abundant water resources, but on the other side there is water scarcity. The droughts are there and they experience them, and there are several consequences that you can read on the board. So with that, I introduce my next speakers who are already presented, and they will tell us why we are hosting the forum in the Dominican Republic. Over to you, Claudia.
Muy buenos días.
Good morning. I'll try to translate whatever he's saying, so please bear with me.
Esta institución, la Dirección de Tecnificación de Riego, fue creada en el año 2021
The institution that he leads, which is the National Direction for Technical Irrigation, was created in 2021
como un esfuerzo del gobierno de la República Dominicana para poder afrontar el reto de mantener su sistema agroalimentario en medio de una disponibilidad de agua cada vez más precaria.
as an effort by the Dominican government to maintain and sustain the challenges that the agriculture systems was having in the Dominican Republic at that time.
La República Dominicana está entre los 10 países a ser más impactados con los efectos del cambio climático.
Dominican Republic is one of the main countries in the region who is to be faced major challenges as part of the climate change effects.
A pesar de que por nuestro tamaño, nuestras contribuciones a los gases de efecto invernadero son casi insignificantes.
And despite of the size of our country and despite of the size of the contribution of the housewarming emissions gases, we're still working towards these mitigation actions.
El cambio climático no es ni democrático ni justo, pero es una realidad.
Climate change is not democratic or fair, but it's a reality.
¿Podemos pasar al...
Yeah.
Ok, thank you. Good. El 82% del agua en la República Dominicana se utiliza en la agricultura, de la cual se desperdicia más del 70%.
As you can see on the screen, 82% of the available water in the country is used for agriculture. However, 70% of that water used for irrigation is going to waste.
Lo cual implica que estamos desperdiciando más del 57% de toda nuestra agua disponible.
As a result, 50% of the country's available water is lost.
Esto porque en menos del 10% de los terrenos actualmente dedicados a la producción agrícola se cuentan con sistemas de riego eficientes.
Only 10%, or usually less than 10% of agricultural production uses modern irrigation systems in the country.
La tecnificación del riego no solamente ayuda a ahorrar agua, también ayuda a promover modelos productivos más rentables y ambientalmente sostenibles.
So that's why we're looking into technification of the irrigation systems, looking forward to more efficient systems in agriculture.
Me alegra mucho estar acá en Nebraska, el cual para nuestro país es un referente en materia de lo que es una agricultura rentable y competitiva.
I'm happy to be here in Nebraska because for our country, this is a reference when it comes to productive and affordable agriculture.
El profesor Christopher Neal es visto para nosotros como un gurú de la agricultura.
Professor Christopher Neal is seen by us as a guru of agriculture in the country.
No dudaría que pronto alguna calle de nuestro país lleve su nombre.
I wouldn't doubt that anytime soon, one of our streets will have his name.
Miren, decirles, ya para concluir mi participación, alimentar a una población mundial en crecimiento, con recursos cada vez más limitados,
No, you can go ahead. I'll read it after. Go ahead.
Ok. Te lo voy a decir. Alimentar una población mundial en crecimiento con recursos cada vez más limitados es uno de los mayores retos de la humanidad en toda su historia, lo que se ve agudizado por los efectos del cambio climático sobre la disponibilidad de agua. Es un reto mayor que las armas nucleares y las pandemias. Ante un problema global, los países del mundo debemos unir esfuerzos y compartir experiencias. El WASAG es el principal espacio de trabajo a nivel mundial para hacer frente al reto de la escasez de agua para la producción de alimentos. Les invitamos a ser parte. Nos vemos en Punta Cana el próximo año.
So, feeding a growing global population with increasingly limited resources is one of the greatest challenges facing humanity in its entire history. This challenge is exacerbated by the effects of climate change on water availability. It is a bigger challenge than nuclear weapons or pandemics. Faced with a global problem, the world's countries must join forces and share experiences. WASAG is the leading global forum for addressing the challenge of water scarcity for food production. We invite you to be part of it. See you in Punta Cana next year.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
I now invite Patricia to take us through the next slides on why they are hosting, FAO is hosting this event in Dominican Republic.
Thank you, everybody. Yes, here, no? Distinguished colleagues, it is a privilege to highlight the growing role of the Dominican Republic as a premier host of international events across the Americas and beyond. Let me begin with the country's international recognition. The Dominican Republic has emerged as a leading destination for high-level gatherings, thanks to its exceptional combination of modern infrastructure, efficient logistics, and globally recognized tourism offerings. It is not only a meeting point, it's a platform for action. So, what makes the Dominican Republic strategically advantageous? First, its proven organizational experience in coordinating complex, large-scale summits. Second, it's a strong air connectivity with direct flights to major global hubs. And third, the country's well-known hospitality, of course, an essential ingredient in diplomatic success. And finally, it has become a key destination for international cooperation, policy dialogue, and the exchange of best practices. We could briefly mention a few notable events to demonstrate that. We have the Ibero-American Summit that was done in 2023 in Santo Domingo, our capital. We had the Summit of the Americas in 2023, and we have it again this year in Punta Cana. We had the 5th CELAC Summit in 2017, and the Regional Conference on Sargassum that, as you might be aware, is already a huge challenge for us and the entire Caribbean. These events confirm that the Dominican Republic is more than a host. It is a regional leader in convening meaningful dialogue, particularly on issues such as climate resilience, sustainable agriculture, and regional integration. And a little picture to convince you all. So looking ahead, we are proud to share that Punta Cana will serve as the host city of the 3rd WASAG International Forum, taking place in March. And if the pictures don't convince you, then we can stop right here. But why Punta Cana? This location represents not only the best of Dominican hospitality and tourism excellence, but also a symbol of our national commitment to global dialogue on pressing issues, particularly the intersection between water, food security, and climate resilience. The setting offers a unique blend of, let me take it back. Oh, but I can't. Of infrastructure, connectivity, and natural beauty, creating the perfect backdrop for meaningful exchange, innovative partnerships, and collaborative action. The Dominican Republic is honored to host this milestone event, and we look forward to welcome the international community to our shores to what promised to be an impactful and looking forward forum. As host country, the Dominican Republic will count on the support and technical leadership of the FAO Country Office, ensuring a successful and high-impact WASAG Forum. Our contributions will span across the key areas that we have here, including a strong coordination with ministries and partners, because we have a very strong articulation with all the different actors in the country, mobilization of national and international expertise, capacity building initiatives, of course, and operational and logistical support throughout the process. We will also lead communication efforts, help design legacy initiatives, and ensure that all planning reflects FAO standards of excellence and inclusivity. This is not just an event, it's an opportunity to set a precedent for global collaboration in the face of water scarcity. In the lead to the WASAG Forum, as well, I put some examples of events that we have had in the past. This was the last America Summit that we had in 2023 with the presence of over 20 countries. We had head of states and presidents. This is part of the Hand in Hand initiative that we launched in the south area of the country. And this was the launch of the decade of the family farming that was for Latin America and the region. And this was part of an agreement that we have with the USDA facing the crisis of the ASF in the country. So, in the lead up to the WASAG Forum, a series of strategic events will strengthen momentum and engagement across the region. We begin in June 2025 with a high-level dialogue on food systems, transformation, climate action, and water scarcity. In August, we convene a regional roundtable focused on the dry corridor of the Andes-Ica region, fostering exchange under the FAO Hand in Hand initiative. By October, we will present the Hand in Hand investment note alongside with the World Bank and IDB, aligning financing and field action. And finally, in December, the Summit of the Americas that will spotlight food, water, and energy securities, reinforcing the region's commitment ahead of the WASAG Forum. So here we present a draft overview of the program for the third International WASAG Forum. As you can see, the agenda combines technical sessions, working group discussions, side events, and a field trip or various field trips to foster hand-on knowledge exchange. This draft remains open and inclusive. We warmly welcome proposals to participation from all sectors, governments, academia, private sector, and development partners. Your engagement is essential to ensure a dynamic, relevant, and action-oriented forum. We look forward to shaping this agenda together in our lunch side session today. Thank you.